Hello, everyone. Welcome to this latest episode of the Movie Crusaders. My name is Sean Wasserkrug, and today we're going to be reviewing one of my most anticipated films of 2021, Candyman. Now, Candyman was supposed to come out last year, but obviously due to COVID, it got pushed back to this year. Ever since I saw the very first trailer of this film, I've just been kind of infatuated with it. You have obviously Jordan Peele producing and helped writing the script for this film, which I obviously love Jordan Peele from Key and Peele, and then of course Get Out and Us were two of probably the most iconic horror films of the last decade. So to know that he was kind of helping bring the Candyman character back to life, since we haven't had a Candyman film I think since 1999. Was definitely something I was intrigued by. And that first initial trailer we got definitely did it for me, especially with two lead actresses that I've been really keeping an eye on lately, as Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, which most people know him from Watchmen, where he played Dr. Manhattan, or as Black Manta in Aquaman, and Tiana Paris, who basically everyone who's been watching the MCU, which is pretty much everybody, will know her as Monica Rambeau from WandaVision. The style of this film, especially from the trailer, is what really kind of sunk into me. I loved the aspect of what the storyline, at least from the trailer's aspects of it, really looked, and I was really excited to see this. I had also never seen the original Candyman up until this week. Not because I didn't want to, it was one of those horror films that I just didn't really gravitate towards. It just wasn't, mainly because I don't like bees. that's the rule. Let's be real here. I don't like bees, just like I don't like spiders. So I only seen Arachnophobia the one time. But I never saw Candyman, mainly because of the bee aspect of the films. I like Tony Todd. But yeah, I just never really saw the Candyman films. I heard the first one was like really good, but the second and the third film were not. So this week I did go back and watch the first Candyman film, and it was solid. I enjoyed it for the most part. I liked the world that they built around this Candyman character, and the story itself I think could have been done a little bit better. But I think for a first-time film of the original one that I'm talking about, I think it did a solid job. Now, obviously, with this film, they're treating this as kind of like how Halloween 2018 was kind of like a sequel to the first film and kind of negates the other films in the Halloween franchise. This one kind of is negating, I guess, the second and the third film, because the third film technically is based in 2020, and this film's based in 2019. So I guess we're pretending that the second and third film don't exist. But the first film, this is definitely a sequel to. There's a lot of connective tissue from the original Candyman film that came out in 1992 to this film. There are story elements and names and characters from that first film that are incredibly tied in to this film. So if you have not seen the original Candyman, I'm not saying that you'll be completely lost watching this film, because they do a really good job of kind of tying you in and keeping you up to date with the events of that film through this. But it wouldn't hurt to see the first film prior to seeing this film, just so that way you have that connective tissue and some of the characters and their stories that develop definitely will make it a little bit stronger for you as well. The film's directed by Nia DaCosta. This is the first time I've ever seen anything she's directed. She's also been doing the Captain Marvel sequel, so we're obviously going to be seeing her again here very soon. Her style of this film, I really enjoyed the way she shot this film and the choices that she made in certain aspects of this film. One thing that I think a lot of people are going to find frustrating, but I actually thought it was a unique choice to do, is the kills in this film. They're not really and technically, I guess the first Candyman's a little bit like this as well. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's unique because the first film did it, but it's on a broader spectrum this time out. Is the kills, for the most part, are not in your face, showing you everything you see. A lot of it is kind of done off in the distance, or you don't get to see the full side of it, or it's from the perspective of someone who's witnessing it happening, but not like in the position of being in danger. And the reason why I like that is that it further proves or further pushes the elements of the urban legend of Candyman, because you're going to have these people, especially this one particular girl in this film during the, I'll say the school scene. This is going to be a story for her. And she's not going to be able to give the full events of the story because she's not able to see what happens in this particular scene, which is a very graphic scene. But she is only going to be able to see elements of it and certain things that happen. And a lot of the kills are like that. It is done in a way that you don't get to see the full death. You don't get to see exactly what's always happening. But because if you're telling this story back to someone, you're not going to know the full story. And that's where the urban legend of the character Candyman will grow and grow. There is one particular kill in this film that I think is done masterfully, and shock value wise is fantastic. I was watching this in pretty much a sold out theater. And this is the one scene that I think everyone in the theater like gasped, in terms of like just how brilliant it was shot. And it's definitely, when I think back of the movie that I literally just saw, that is the one scene that sticks out to me. The best way I'll describe it is high rise. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But that particular kill scene is done to me brilliantly, and probably one of my favorite kill scenes I've seen in a horror film in quite a long time. I just love the uniqueness of it, and just the concept and idea that surrounded it, like I said, with the urban legend aspect of the film. Yahya Abdul-Mateen and Tanya Paris, as well as Coleman Domingo. Maybe people know him from Fear the Walking Dead. I think all three of them do a real solid job in the parts that they are given. So does Nathan Stewart Jarrett, who plays Troy, who's Tanya Paris's brother, who she plays Brianna, by the way. I'm sorry, I've never mentioned her name yet. Nathan's character, Troy, he's the brother. He's kind of, the comic relief of the film, and he is funny. I do think they let him go a little too far in certain aspects, to the point where I'm just like, shut up. But he is very funny. He's enjoyable in the film. Sometimes I just let him go a little too far with his antics. Yahya, who plays Anthony, I really, really liked his character. I liked the journey he was going on and kind of where that character was going to end up in the film. I guess the one aspect of the film that I guess could find a knock towards is that it's a 90-minute film, but I feel like it could have used another 15 to 20 minutes to flesh out the story a little bit more. I felt like there was more story to tell between Anthony and Brianna, and especially Coleman Domingo's William Burke. There is a situation in the film that happens with his character that is done so quick, so drastic, that it almost just feels like you missed part of the film. Like maybe there's something on the cutting room floor, because it's just such a drastic change of character. And I didn't hate that drastic change of the character. I just felt like there was more that needed to be built upon, or a more story that needed to be done for that particular character to get us to that point. Also with Brianna and Troy's father, there's a backstory to their father. I felt like there was maybe more to that story than what we initially got, and we just don't get it. And Anthony's downward spiral of the film with Candyman, I think is done incredibly well, but I kind of just wanted a little bit more from it. I wanted a little bit more, and maybe another scene or two of this descent of his character, that I feel like this film could have used 15 to 20 more minutes just to flesh out the story a little bit better. The story that we get is incredibly well done, and it's a lot of fun, but it just feels like it's missing parts, or some parts are maybe left on the cutting room floor. Maybe there's a director's cut out there that's going to have it be more fleshed out. But there are certain aspects that I felt like could have hit stronger, or could have been delivered better had we gotten more time with these characters and some of the instances of Candyman in this world. One aspect I really did enjoy that they do kind of throughout the film, and especially through the credits, is they kind of have like this puppeteering act that kind of tells you the mythos and the story of Candyman. Because Candyman is not just the one version that we see in the original film with Tony Todd. Candyman is about 4 or 5 different people, and we get to kind of see the birth and the development of the legend of Candyman through this film. Now, the live action aspects, yeah, it is mainly towards this one particular version of Candyman. But when you see the end credits, and it runs through the entire credits. So if you guys want to see that, because it is actually really well done, and I really enjoyed the aspect of it, but it's not necessarily something you need to see. It does kind of take you through the storyline and the world of the first instance of Candyman, which is Tony Todd's character, all the way up to the end of this film. And I really liked that as a choice. I like the uniqueness of it because we don't really get to see that a whole lot anymore. And I think it was also really well done. There are certain times in the film, and I guess, like I said, you chalk this up to it being a horror film, where some characters do some stupid things. There's one particular aspect with Anthony's character where he has something that happens to him, and progressively it starts to get worse and worse, and you're just wondering, why has he not gotten this checked out? Why has he not gotten this taken care of or handled? Which obviously we knew nothing was going to get taken care of it, but it's just one of those things where it's kind of far-fetched that the character itself wouldn't have tried to get this checked out earlier. Also, for people who might be a little squeamish, yes, there's a lot of blood in the film. Gore-wise, not necessarily a lot of gore, but body horror. There is a lot of body horror. So if you're a little squeamish towards body horror, this film's going to be kind of rough to watch in certain aspects of the film. But nonetheless, Candyman is a solid horror film that I think builds upon the original film from 1992, strengthens the story from 1992, and also, just like the story itself, builds on the legend or the urban legend of the Candyman character from the first film to this film right now. And if they are to make more films in the Candyman franchise with someone like DaCosta or Jordan Peele at the helm of it, I am excited to see more of what they have to come out, because the third act, while there's one particular aspect I wish they would have kind of hit a little bit harder on, the third act is awesome. I love the way they tease Candyman throughout the film, especially with reflection of mirrors and stuff like that. Whereas, like, the scares are not necessarily huge in the film, but there's aspects that you just have that aura of someone is always watching you, someone is always lurking, and sometimes you do catch it on a screen. And when you do catch it on screen, it's not like a scream or like a jump scare moment, just that eerie, creepy, unsettling feeling in the film when you know you're being watched by the Candyman. And it's one of those things that I think was shot really smart and really well done, but the scares are not quite there overall, but I still enjoyed the film immensely. In terms of recommendations, obviously, if you like the franchise, this is definitely a huge step up from all the films. It greatly strengthens the first film. I did not see the second or third film. I heard they weren't that good. I think this film kind of pushes those to the side. So this feels like a true sequel to the first film. So if you guys liked Candyman from 1992, I think you're going to really enjoy this film. If you like any of these actors, I think you're going to really, really enjoy this film as well. So definitely a strong recommendation. I think you guys should check this out. I think you will not be disappointed. Whether it's in theaters or whether it eventually comes out on digital or streaming, definitely check out Candyman if you guys are going to enjoy it quite a bit. Going to my overall score, I'm going to give it an 81%. Like I said, I enjoyed the style, the way it was shot, the way it was directed, the way the kills were done. So much I like about this film. I just wish the story elements were hit a little bit harder. Some character choices didn't quite make sense because of how quick the film went. 15 to 20 more minutes of actual character plot and character development really would have gone a long way to make this a stronger and better film overall. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos pop up on the Movie Crusaders. Of course, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we have the John Cena comedy Vacation Friends that hits Hulu today or tomorrow, I guess. If I get to check that out, we'll have a review for that. Like I said, I saw Reminiscence last week. I just didn't feel like it was worth giving a review for, a little mild review. It's fine. It's not great. Like I said, if I wanted to see, I really want to see Hugh Jackman in a PI film noir film now. But the story itself, I cared more about the world around the film and less the story of the film that we were getting. It's on HBO Max. It's in theaters. Check it out if you want. I gave it a C grade overall in terms of my score for it. Also coming up next, we got Marvel Shang-Chi coming out next week, so definitely will be a review of that, as well as let's see what else we got coming out here. I think that's really it. You got Shang-Chi, and then you've got Vacation Friends that comes out this week. But just like every Friday, our latest episode of the Movie Crusaders is going to be dropping here very, very, very shortly. It is a very special episode, so check that out. Here's a sneak peek of the 5 films we're going to be talking about on that. And, of course, next week, Brian Michaels – actually, no, next week we're going to be taking a week off from the Week of Crusaders. We are going to take a much-needed week off, and then we'll be back the following week with 5 more movies to talk about in that got released in that weekend in movie history. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and go out and check out Candyman if you can. It is definitely worth checking out. And until next time, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.